Hello everybody, and today we're going to be making our first Scratch project. So let's go ahead and get started. So first let's go ahead and open up a web browser, and then we're going to type in scratch.mit .edu. Go ahead and press enter. If you are not already a member of Scratch, you can go ahead and click Join Scratch. It'll give you a window like this. And if you already have an account, you can go ahead and sign in. Okay, so once you're signed in or you've joined, let's go ahead and go up to the top right corner where it shows your profile. Click on it. It'll bring up a drop-down menu. Click My Stuff and click New Project. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name this project. So you'll have noticed I haven't told you what we're going to make yet, but today we're going to be making a hockey game. So up near the top left corner of the window, there is a title bar. It'll start with Untitled. You can go ahead and type into that hockey game. Okay. And next we're going to go ahead and delete this cat. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the right and click the trash can. So the first thing we want to do for the hockey game is make a backdrop so that we don't want this blank white screen while we're playing hockey. So first we're going to go to the bottom right, hover over the choose a backdrop, and we're going to go to paint. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete backdrop 2. I'm going to rename this backdrop hockey backdrop or background. Okay, make sure that this button down here says convert to bitmap. If you have it and it says convert to vector, everything is very pixely and it doesn't look very good. So make sure it's convert to bitmap. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do, so I want my background to be black with a line going down the middle with a circle in the middle, and the puck will start on the line, and you'll have the goals on the sides and paddles on the sides. So you're trying to keep the puck from going into your goal or the computer's goal. So first I'm going to go to this paintbrush. I'm going to make this size 100. I'm going to go to fill. It's a drop down box. I'm going to make it black. Okay. And then this box right here, we just need to fill up this box with black, maybe a little more around. Okay, so let's just fill up this box. Instead, if you don't want to do the whole paintbrush thing for the whole thing, then instead you can just do an outline on this box with paint. Click the bucket, do black, and then you can just go inside the box, click right here, the unfilled part, and it'll make that black. So now we have a black backdrop. So let's go ahead and make the white line. I'm going to click the square instead of the line because the line doesn't work super well and it can't get thicker. So I'm going to click rectangle. I'm going to click outline and put a slash unless you want an outline on your line. And I'm going to make my line white so it'll stand out in the black. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag all the way down the middle to make a line. Now that's a pretty big line, so I'm going to go ahead and hold down one of the dots on the rectangle and make it thinner by dragging to the left or right. Okay, that's a little thicker. Okay, so now when you hover over the plus button and then click down on it and you drag it around, when you get closer to the center of the black rectangle, you'll see a circle with a plus sign in the middle. So go ahead and drag this plus into it. It'll kind of snap into place and keep it there. That'll make sure that the line is in the very middle. Okay, so next let's go ahead and make the circle. Same color. You can make it a different color if you want. So instead of doing a fill, it's going to make a circle like this if we do fill. Do fill slash, and then just make the outline white. Then that'll do something like that. But I'm going to make it a little thicker. Okay, I'm going to make an actual circle. Okay, so now I'm going to drag it. I'm going to go to the select tool that's up here. I'm going to click on that circle. I'm going to do the plus sign. Oh, wrong one. And I'm going to drag it, the plus sign, into that circle with a plus sign in it, so that'll make sure it's in the very middle. Okay, so now that we have our backdrop, let's go ahead and go to the code tab. There are 3 tabs up here. Let's go to the code tab. And we're not really going to do anything else with this backdrop. So what I want to do next is I want to go ahead and make the puck. So the puck is going to be a green thing in the middle. It's going to move around, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what it'll look like. Let's hover down, and right next to the choose a backdrop to the left, there's something called choose a sprite. Now a sprite is basically a character, so like a sprite could be a cat here, or a ball, or a puck. So let's go ahead and go to choose a sprite, click it, or instead of clicking it, you could just click choose a sprite. Let's go to search, and it's actually right here when it in this pop-up screen has tons of things, icons and stuff. It's actually going to be right here. It's called button 1. So if you don't see it, you can go ahead and type in button, and if you do a space, it won't come up. So just type in button, and button 1 will be the first thing to show up. Click it, and then I'm going to rename it. So it's clicked. I'm going to go to sprite right here, rename it. I'm going to call it puck. Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you about X and Y. It's very important that you know about X and Y. That is just where everything is located. So you see, we have puck selected. Okay, here, let's go choose another sprite too for this demonstration. So you don't have to bring out another sprite. I'm just showing you X and Y. So you see up here next to sprite, it has the title, cake or puck. And to the right of that, it has X and Y. X, Y. So if you already know what X and Y is, for those of you who know what it is, just an overview of it. X and Y is left and right, Y is up and down. So if you already know what X and Y is, you can go ahead and skip ahead. But for those of you who don't know what X and Y is, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. So I click on cake. See this box right here? It has the X, Y, the direction, the size, the show, the sprite. So that is going to show up for all the different things. So like cake, sprite cake, it's X and Y is 113, 42, direction 90, size 100, and you can see it. And if I click puck, this is basically just all the descriptions of the sprite. So let me go ahead and let's click puck. These will be your different sprites in this dark blue box right here, kind of sky, pale blue. So click puck, it's a sprite. And so then you're going to look at the X and Y. And right now it's -50, 30, Y 34. So let's drag the puck. See how the X and Y change? So let's say we put the puck in the very center. The very center is X0, Y0, and that'll put the puck in the very middle. And so if you move the puck to the left, the X numbers get more and more negative. If you move it to the right, it gets positive. For the Y, if you go up, it's positive. Go down, negative. So X left, negative. X right, positive. Y up, positive. Y down, negative. Okay, so if we want something in the very middle, 0, 0 would be the very middle. And so we want our puck to start off in the very middle. So let's type in X0, Y0. And that's a pretty big puck. So let's go to the size down here below X. And I'm going to try 50 for starters. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bigger. I'm going to do 55. Ooh, maybe even smaller than that. I'm going to do 52. Okay, so the next thing we're going to make, we've made our puck, but it doesn't actually move. So let me go ahead and tell you about some of the code. Let's go to the left over here. Make sure you have puck selected. Let's go to the left side of the screen. You will see lots of different colored dots and words below them. This first one is motion, looks, sound, events, control, etc. So first thing we're going to do is go to events and drag out the when flag clicked. So you'll notice that this flag right here looks exactly like the flag right here. All the code, all the blocks and everything that you drag below the when flag clicked will happen when you click the flag. So clicking the flag is basically a way of starting the game and running all the code below the when flag clicked block. Okay, so we're going to put all of our code below this, and so make sure you're still in the puck, drag out a when flag clicked block, and so we're going to go ahead and make the puck move. So let's say some hooligan is playing our game and they start moving the puck around and I'm going to go ahead and delete the cake, we don't need that anymore. Let's start dragging the puck everywhere. We start the game. It'll only start for a split second since there's no code below this when flag click, so it can only run for a split second. But when we click it, it's not going back to 0, 0. So let's go ahead and type back in 0, 0 for our X and Y. And then let's go to motion, go to, it's the fifth block, go to X0, Y0. So now let's say that hooligan comes back to our game. They start dragging the puck everywhere. They start the game. Our puck will go right back. So make sure you have the when flag clicked, go to X0, Y0. The next block we're going to add is wait 1 second. That's in the control section. It's the very top block, the first block. You just need to drag it out. It's already at 1 second. The reason I want that block out here is because as soon as we start the game, we don't want everything to immediately start moving. We want the whole game to wait like 1 second so the player can get ready. Like they click the green flag and it doesn't immediately start. We want it to wait 1 second. That's why the flag isn't running for only a split second, because we have that wait 1 second block. See, if we click it, the game will wait 1 second. Okay, so now everything is going to wait 1 second. But since this code is only in our puck, only the puck will wait 1 second. So let's say we only have the wait 1 second in the puck, and we don't have a wait 1 second in all the other sprites we're going to make. only the puck will wait 1 second and everything else will be early. So let's go ahead and make the puck move. Below the wait 1 seconds, I want to go to motion, point in direction 90. So it's in the motion tab, and point in direction 90. So this will make sure that our puck knows which direction to point in when it's starting to move. So right now it's already direction 90, but let's say somebody does decide to do -115. We start the game, it'll go to direction 90. So below point in direction 90, we're going to add a forever loop in the control section. Anything inside the forever loop will run forever until you stop the game. So inside the forever loop, we want the puck to keep moving forever until the game ends, right? So the very first block in motion, we're going to make move 15 steps. Oops, we don't want to move 156. 15 steps. And below that, if on edge bounce. It's near the end of the motion blocks. So now the puck will continually be bouncing around, and if it's on the edge, it'll bounce. Okay, I did something wrong with that. I said point in direction 90. That means it's just going to be going like this. We need it to point in the direction 45, so it'll go diagonally. Okay, now let's try it. Save the project, click the green flag, and now our ball is bouncing all around, our puck. Okay, so just go ahead and make sure you have this code in your puck sprite and that you have this backdrop. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is make the hockey sticks. So let's go ahead and go to choose a sprite. Let's click there. Okay, and then we'll go to search, type in paddle. We'll do that. And then let's go back and get 2 paddles, one for the computer and one for me or anybody playing it. Okay, we want them to be facing at 90 degrees. Wait, wrong one, 180. We want them to face at 180 degrees so that they're sideways, right? Because if they're pointing like this one is, paddle number 1, you can't really block a ball like that. I mean, you could, but it'd be a lot harder. So let's go ahead and go to direction for paddle 1, 180. So make sure both paddles have a direction of 180. And we want the paddles to be at the edge of the screen, right? About right, I'll say right here. We want the Y to be 0 because if the Y is 0, they'll be in the very middle of the screen, up and down. We don't want it to be up here. We want it to be here when it starts off. Of course, it will move up and down once we code it to do that. But right now, we want it to start here. And we want the Y, the X, to be -180. And so, if you've noticed, if we, let's go to paddle 2, drag it over here, and we do 180. That's the very opposite of -180. So it'll just do, let's say I enter -180. It'll go right on top of that one, the person paddle. So let's do -180, so it'll go to the other side. Oh, did the wrong one. Okay, and then let's make the Y 0. So now our paddles are in the right places. Let's go ahead and rename the paddles so we can keep up better. I'm going to rename paddle 1 person paddle. And paddle 2, computer paddle. Okay, let's go to person paddle, and let's go ahead and code it to actually move around, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get a when flag clicked. Otherwise, if we just add our code in here without a when flag clicked, nothing will happen. So let's drag that out. Get a go to block so that it'll stay there if the hooligan comes back and starts moving everything around. And then below that, let's do a wait 1 second so everything in the game is waiting so the player gets ready. And then let's add a forever block so everything inside will go forever. Let's go back to motion and get a set Y2 and drag it inside the forever loop. That means that the person paddle will set Y to 0 forever, but I don't want it to be set to 0. So let's go down to operators. Oh wait, wrong one, sensing. And it will have mouse Y in the middle. Drag that out and drag it inside the 0 oval. Set Y to mouse Y. So remember, Y is up and down. So if our mouse is going up and down, our paddle will follow. So let's go ahead and try it out. See, now our paddle will follow us when we go up and down with the cursor. Okay, so I think you've noticed, but the ball doesn't actually do anything when it hits our paddle. It doesn't even hit it, it goes straight through it. So in order to change that, we need to go to the putt code. And I'm not going to make the score variables yet, so hold on. Okay, let's go ahead and go to putt code. And we already have a forever block. Let's set this block of code over here. Let's get another when flag clicked. And let's get a forever loop. We don't need to do any go to since we already have the go to block right here and they're both in the same sprite. And inside the forever block, let's go to control and if statement. And then to sensing at the very top, touching, drop down list, person paddle. So now when the flag is clicked, the puck will be sensing if I'm touching this paddle, the person paddle, then, and it'll run anything inside here. Okay, so inside, we're going to then turn 180 degrees clockwise. And then we're going to move 15 steps. And then we're going to wait 0.5 seconds. I'll explain to you why we have that wait block later in the episode. Okay, so next we want it to bounce off the computer hockey stick too, right? So let's go ahead and go get another if statement. If you want, you can go ahead and just drag this out, right click the if statement, click duplicate, put it under this if statement, and drag both if statements inside here. Change this drop down to computer paddle or computer hockey stick if you want to name the computer paddle computer hockey stick. So now the ball will bounce off if it touches either of the paddles. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and make the goals. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to choose a sprite, paint. I'm going to make my goals invisible. Actually, you have to make them seeable. So I'm going to make them seeable. I'm going to make them yellow. You can make yours yellow, blue, pink, any color. Just you can do it with this color bar, these color bars. Color, saturation, and brightness. I'm going to use the rectangle to do that though. Okay, yellow. I need like a metal yellow, like a wind yellow. Okay, there. So now let's go ahead and just, I'm going to make I don't want an outline. I don't want a wide outline. So let's do the slash for the outline. And let's just make this long enough so it'll fill up the screen. I'm going to drag it to the very edge and just barely showing. Okay, so now I can duplicate that. I just have to right click over here. It says costume 1. I'm going to name it goal 1. And then I'm going to right click, duplicate, goal 2. Well, actually, that's costume, so that means it would have 2 costumes. Let's go ahead and make a different sprite. And let's name this one goal 1, and then this one goal 2. Okay, so in goal 2, we can duplicate this, I believe. Let's go to select, click it, click copy, go to goal 2, paste. Okay, so remember how I showed you what we did with the person and computer paddles? We just made them go to the opposite sides with the opposite X. So like person paddles negative 180, computer paddles 180. So goal is at 36. And if we want it to be at the same spot, we can do goal 2, negative 36. For some reason it's not moving. Okay, goal 2. Let's go ahead and just move it over here instead. Where'd it go? Okay. Let's move it into the right spot. Okay, there. So now we have our goals. Let's go ahead and go to the code for the goals, and all we need to do is do a when flag clicked and then a go to. Okay, let's do the same with when flag clicked. Okay, so now let's say somebody drags these all around. Oh, I guess I forgot to put a go to for the computer paddle, but almost everything will go back to their spots. Except the computer paddle. So let's go ahead and go to computer paddle. It's the person paddle's X is negative 180, so the computer paddle's X we want to be 180, Y 0. So let's do go to X, and then I'm going to type in 180, and then 0. There. Okay, so, hang on, let me think. What should we do next? I think that we should go ahead and make the computer paddle, actually, we need to make the score. That's what we need to do. Let's go to variables. It doesn't matter what sprite you're in when you make this variable. I'm just going to select puck. Go to variables. I'm going to delete my variable. Make a variable. Make sure that the button says for all sprites, and I'm going to name it. I already have some other things in here from when I last made this project, so you won't see this drop down list, but I'm going to name it person score. Okay. I'm going to make another one, computer score for all sprites. Okay. So I'm going to move the computer score over here since the computer paddle will be over here and the person score over there. Okay, so we want the score to reset every game, right? That's really easy with just one block. So let's go to the puck and let's go to stay in variables, get 2 set blocks. I'm going to drag them in here and set person score to 0 and set computer score to 0. And we need to add an if statement so that if the puck is touching either of the goals, it adds a point. So let's go to the puck, add 2 if statements. And we're going to add to touching in the sensing. Okay, if touching goal 1 and if touching goal 2, then get 2 change blocks. We're going to change person score by 1 and change computer score by 1. And we want to wait about 0.5 seconds, because the reason for that is, I'll tell you in a second. If the puck is touching the goal for about 0.2 seconds, which means it's touching it for more than 0.1 seconds, which means that it'll give you multiple points. So let's say we don't have these wait statements in here. Look how many points it'll give if it touches the goal, because it's touching it for more than 0.1 seconds. See, it gives you about 4 points. So with the wait statements though, watch what'll happen. Touches once, gives you 1 point. Okay, so now we need to make the computer paddle move, and then we'll be almost done, really. Okay, so let's go to computer paddle. Let me go ahead and in my files check the code for it. The code for the computer paddle is very long because you duplicate it several times. There are lots of random numbers in this though, so that it can actually move around. I'll show you that later. Let's go to the computer paddle though. This is one of the last things that we're going to do in our game. Let's go to when flag clicked, drag that out, go to X. We already have that, so we don't need it. Well, actually, let's just add all of our code under this. Let's wait 0.5 seconds. The reason I'm doing that is to give the computer a chance. Whenever the game starts, you'll notice the paddle always goes diagonal like this, which means it'll always give me a free point if the computer doesn't immediately go up. So I'm making it wait 0.5 seconds so it can move up there earlier, or have a chance at blocking it earlier. So then let's go to variables. Okay, I'll tell you about this later. I'll explain the random number later, but let's go ahead and make a random number variable. Make sure that it's for this sprite only, because we don't want all the sprites to know this variable. It only matters for the computer paddle. So then let's go to, we want to set the random number to operators pick random 1 to 10. I'll explain all this later, but let's go ahead and just get the code in. Let's go to forever. Let's go to control and drag out a forever. And then let's see, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if statements. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, let's drag these in. So now we have 5 if statements. Let's go to operators. We're going to be in operators a lot of the time now. Let's drag out this blank equals 50 block, and let's put it in every if statement. Okay, and then let's drag out 5 pick random blocks. And let's drag them on top of the 50. And make sure they're all 1 to 10. And then let's do, actually instead of 1 to 10, let's do 1 to 6 so that the actions it make will be faster. I'll explain that later. Make sure all of the pick randoms say 1 to 6, every single one of them, even the ones that aren't in the if statements. And let's say Oh, we need to move these actually to the left. So the 50 is showing. So drag the pick randoms into the blank. And then go to variables and drag out the random number oval and make 5 of them. And drag them into the 50. So basically what we do when we start the game, the random number is always changing. So, see, we stop it, we start it, it's 2, it's 6. So we have a random number that's being picked, and let's say the random number is 6. If the computer is picking a random number, so let's say the computer's random number is 6, and then it's picking another random number, and if it's 6, so basically, if pick random 1 to 6 equals this random number, then I'm going to add code so that it will move. So that if the random number is 4 and it picks 3, then it won't do it. It won't move until the next if statement. It'll pick again, pick again, pick again, pick again. So let's go ahead and go to motion. Let's get 5 of these out. And let's drag them all into here. Inside the if statements. And then we want the computer paddle to stay at its location or position for a little bit. I mean, we don't want it to stay there forever, but we also don't want it to go there for only a split second and just be moving super fast so that it's impossible to score on it. So let's add a wait statement so that it'll wait in its position for a little bit. We're going to make these wait statements 0.5. And let's add them under the glide. And yes, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna make them 0.5. And then let's change the glide to 0.2. These glides are going to be how fast the computer paddle moves to its location. So we're saying glide in 0.2 seconds to this X and Y. Okay, so I already have all of my code from last time I made the hockey game printed out, so I'm just copying that. So you can experiment and put them at the computer paddle at whatever locations you want, but the ones I've printed out, first one is going to be X164, Y41. All of the X's are going to be, wait, don't make the X164. Oops. Make it its current location when you start the game, which is 180. So make sure the X for every single glide to is 180. Okay, so the Y is just going to make it move up and down. So we want a location for here, 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 and here. Okay, so the Y's I have printed out is Y41, Y105, Y0, because that's the very middle, which will be right there where it is currently. Below 0 I have -41, which means we're into the down positions now, and then -105. So just like that, the computer paddle will now move. Let's go ahead and hide this computer paddle random number thing. Let's go to variables and hide it. Now there is one thing I forgot to add into this computer paddle code. When you start the game, here, let's go ahead and show this random number variable again. It's not changing the random number until you start and stop the game again. So we want it to change it after every if statement. So what we need to do is get set. We're gonna make, let me count, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 of these sets. And in each of them, we're going to have we're going to have pick random 1 to 10. So make 4 pick random 1 to 10s and drag them on top of the 0. And then we're going to change instead of computer score to random number. And so now it'll be picking a random number after every if statement. Let's go ahead and add them in between the if statements, which will be this empty part right here, right here, right here, and right here. I'm just going to go ahead and make one more to go below this if statement. Okay, there. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate all of this. Now here's why. The reason why, hang on, let me go ahead and hide this variable. The reason why is so that it'll have more of a chance to go to these different locations. So if we duplicate all of this 5 times, it'll be going through all of that in a split second, which means that about split second, it depends on if the random number equals the random number, but it'll be going through it pretty fast, and so that just gives it a better chance of moving to the different locations. So I'm going to duplicate this 5 times. I'm going to drag them under every one. The bottom there. Okay, now we have one more. Oops. Okay. So now just like that, let's zoom out. Can't even get the whole thing, it's so long. Told you it'd be long. So next thing we're gonna do, well, let's go ahead and just test it out. Let's save. And now the computer paddle is moving, as you can see. So it may not always block the puck from giving me that free point, but sometimes it will. Let me just make sure the puck is actually bouncing off it. It's hard to get it to touch it. There we go. Okay, so now there's no limit to the score. So let me go ahead and just check this. I believe it's all in the puck code. Yes, so let's go to the puck. And we're going to need 2 more if statements. And we're going to get 2 more equal 50 blocks. Put them inside the if statements. Go to variables. Drag out a person score and a computer score. Drag them into the blank spot. So now they read if person score equals 50 or if computer score equals 50. So I'm just going to set the scores to 5 for now. And then let me tell you about the broadcast block. We're going to go to events and drag out 2 of these broadcast blocks. Let's go ahead and do new message for this one. Person wins. So basically the broadcast block just means it's broadcasting to all the other sprites when this is true. So like inside here, if person score equals 5, I'm going to tell all the other sprites and characters, person wins. There is a block that says when I receive and the message that you want. And then for if computer score equals 5, then broadcast computer wins. So if a person wins and a computer wins, let's go ahead and make 2 new sprites. This one will be called person wins. This one will be called computer wins. Okay, let's go to person wins. Let's get text. When you win, you usually get like a gold medal. So I'm going to make the text yellow. So I'm just going to make the text person wins. Oh, I can barely see that. I'll actually probably just do blue text. I'll select that, delete it. Okay, I'm going to do blue text. Okay, text. Person wins. Okay, let's drag that plus to the circle with a plus. Ooh. Let's just do x0, y0 so it goes to the very middle. Okay, and then let's make it bigger. With these dots, we can just drag them to make it bigger. Make it a little wider. There. Okay, that's pretty wide. So now let's go to computer wins, text, and computer wins. Make sure to put an exclamation point at the end. Okay, let's go 0, 0. Let's select, and let's make it bigger. Okay, there. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna hide person win so I can see. Okay, let's hide them. So you'll just we can show them actually. Let's go to the code for person wins. When I receive, person wins, show. But we need to do a when flag clicked, hide, and then go to x0, y0, and then when I receive person wins, show, wait 1 second, stop all. That will end the game. So let's go ahead and to duplicate some code to another sprite, you can just bring it down and hover it in front of the sprite you want it to go to. There. So now that code will be in here. Guess it didn't bring that other one in. Okay, there. Yeah. And instead, oh, there it is. Okay, instead of when I receive person wins, computer wins. Okay, so when we start the game, they'll hide. And just for testing purposes, so we make sure that they actually come up, let's change these to 1 if computer score equals 1 and if person score equals 1. Okay, let's see, whoever scores first, I win. Oh, wait. So it touched the computer. Oh. So I made a mistake. If the paddle touched the computer's goal, but it gave the computer a point. We just need to switch that around easily. It's really easy. Go to puck, bring out these 2 if statements, if touching goal 1 and if touching goal 2. If touching goal 1, just switch these around to computer and person score, and then drag them back into place. So now, there. I got a point, and now I win. Okay, now let's see. Peterman's show. Wait 1 second. Stop all. Let's just go ahead and add the stop alls here too. Broadcast. Stop all. Nah, I'm gonna put that. Let's add a wait statement so it doesn't stop everything as soon as the text appears. Let's wait 0.5 seconds and wait 0.5 seconds. Okay, let's test this out. We can full screen it, go up to the top right corner, click that. Let's try it. So now I win, person wins, stops the game. Okay, since we know it works, I'm going to change mine to 5. 5. Okay, so just like that, we have a hockey game now. So you can go ahead and enjoy that. If there's anything you'd like to add to it, or if you have any ideas for anything, you can ask me in the comments below. And in the comments, I will also show you how to make music. Show you how to make music in this. But instead of doing that in the comments, I'm actually gonna do that in a different video. So I'll go ahead and stop the video, and I'll see y'all later. Have a good day.